Hello and welcome everybody, I'm one proud Bavarian and we are back here in Lombardy. And now is the King Bonifacio of Lombardy. Now the thing that I want to do in this episode is I want to take it slow. I want to kind of look through the world because there's so much stuff that we have missed so far that, you know, we kind of just didn't really notice because I was busy doing this. And again, I want to kind of apologize for that. It's just sometimes you get caught up in a mechanic. And I was thinking, you know, the last couple of episodes, I was thinking, how do you deal with the issue of having Sardinia all over the place? Because if we just chip away on them, that's not very entertaining, that's not fun. So why can't I find an option to like kind of go through all of that without actually having to do it? And at the end of the day, it did work out. I mean, look at this, it just perfectly. The only miscalculation that I did make is that H.I.P doesn't allow you to fabricate a claim on your liege's title, meaning that I had to then go again to war with them, and then, you know, it was a bit tedious. But we have done it. And there is so much else that has happened in the world. And the greatest thing that has happened that confuses me, but that I think I have slowly understood what actually happened there, I'm going to do last. So first of all, let's just start like this. Let's do kind of, you know, a look at the world from this perspective over here. So obviously we know the internal politics of the HRE. The Bohemians and the Polish have split again because it is Gavelkind. However, they have split under the dynasty of Przemysłowji. I probably butchered that. But as you can see here, they have split, and Bohemia and Poland are still friends, kind of, I suppose. Although they have weak claims. Oh, you don't actually have a claim on Poland. But you know, it's the same dynasty, so that's pretty cool. Do you think? Oh yeah, you totally can do this. That's so cool. So that is the situation in the HRE. We also have a very strong Braunschweig-Lüneburg under the leadership of the House Billung that are uniting the north of Germany. Quite impressive what they have done over there. The Ottokarens, our former ally, if you remember, in the fight against the von Zeringens, have also managed to unite Austria, which then in turn is a bit unfortunate because Austria is not a kingdom in itself, and they have especially or essentially split their land between Bavaria and Kärnten, Carinthia. And let's go further down south here. I hate this, you know I do, and I wish it hadn't happened. But I think if we were to declare independence, this would sooner rather than later either fall to the Muslims or, you know, just kind of shut out the HRE and go independent. At least I would hope so. Down here we have a native, a Berber, leading the Amenite Sultanate, and nothing really interesting going on there. I believe they were at war with the HRE at some point. No longer. I think this trues traits from it. Yeah, there you go. War for Sardinia. They obviously lost it, but you know, it is what it is. Then we have Sulaim, also a Sunni and native Badawi, ruling over Libya. Quite honestly, strongly ruling over Libya. Although, of course, in the south, the Tebesti have made a comeback. Oh, and they are actually Ibadi believers, so not the same as the Sunni believers. So you could say that the coastal area in Libya is still fully under the control of the Sunnis, of the, you know, mainstream kind of religious school of Islam, but the Tebesti are holding on to the desert, and in that desert they maybe will go on and try to crush the Sulaim. In the south over here we have a fairly strong realm of Wagadu, which is... Oh, it's actually just Wagadu. I thought it might be like a cultural title of Mali, but no, it's Wagadu, and Wagadu has expanded quite nicely. I mean, look at them. They are very, very strong in what they're doing. They are pushing through and everything here. Definitely dominating the south. And they are also native African believers. Now, I don't think that they have any chance of actually reforming it. You need 4. I believe you need 4 holy sites to reform anything. They aren't over there yet, but I could see them get it. I mean, Hausaland is strong, but not that strong in comparison here. There you go. Clearly superior. Oh, and they hold Wagadu and Mali. There you go. That explains it. And over here we have Hausaland, not much going on there. The Muslims are kind of encroaching down south. The king of Karnam is holding the line here, but you have Hausaland, and Hausaland is just, you know, fairly okay with the situation, it feels like. And then in the east we have the actual Caliph of the Al-Fatimi dynasty of the of the Ismaili Caliphate. He's holding down Egypt, and he's doing it quite magnificently. So, despite the Seljuks in the east and the Sulaims and the HRE in the west, he is holding his position here in Egypt. He also has vassalized, but I think, or you know, made them a tributary, the Mashila High Chieftain, but I think that was always the case, even from the game start. And then we have the last holdouts of the Copts, and he's losing this. And the last holdout of the Copts, or, you know, there's 2 last holdouts. We have Nubia, and then we have Ethiopia holding their ground, but I don't think they're going to be very successful. We also have a Jewish and Israelite duchess down here, quite interestingly. And then another... Oh, I guess all of those are Copts, actually. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I can see that. They're holding their ground against the Fatimids and the Seljuks. And the Seljuks are in a major revolt. We have still the Seljuk dynasty, Shah Murad the Glorious, who is a devout Sunni believer, against his counterpart. What are you rebelling for? To overthrow the liege. And this just started recently, both of which have massive armies. I could see this go either way, frankly. Maybe the end of the Seljuks? I don't know, it's tough to say. In India, honestly, not that interesting what is going on. The Hindus are holding their ground. There's definitely not really an infringement by the Muslims there, which sometimes happens, but not in this case. The Buddhists have practically united. What is this? Why are you named? Oh, is this just the mountain range of Changtang? It's just not colored in. I thought that was like a bug or something, but it's not. Alright, fair enough. So they are holding it down here. And then we have the Western Protectorate ruling over only scraps. I mean, they are being led by a 12-year-old. Actually, you're not the actual Protectorate leader. You are. Protector General Shulu Kshutung, the Silent of the Western Protectorate. He's also lunatic. I don't think the... Yeah, they have a great famine. They are also open-minded. I don't think the Chinese are a big power factor at this time. And that is quite evident as well by the Seljuks being as powerful here in the east as they are. Now over here we also have some interesting stuff going on. We have classic Tengri believers right over here. Then we have a major force that is Orthodox. Both of these are Orthodox, so we have a pretty big Orthodox powerhouse over here. And then we have this one lone Jewish duchess. How does she do it? How does she survive? I couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that the Finns have gone absolutely crazy in the center of Russia here. And even down there, the Romuva. I don't know what happened to the Slavic faith, but it clearly doesn't exist anymore. The Romuva faith, on the other hand, is fairly strong, even outside of Lietuva. Lietuva itself has created the Kingdom of Lietuva. And they theoretically are fairly close, by the looks of it, to actually unite everything that they need. Yeah, look at this. So they hold this down here, which is Kiev. They hold this, they hold that. If they hold this one, then they would be in a... They do, I mean, they are in a position to reform the Romuvan faith if they had, and they do not have it. If they had the moral authority, they could definitely do it. But Lietuva, incredibly strong for the time being. And, I mean, the Slavic faith is just gone Simonescu, you can see it, or Monaisusko, as it is called in the mod here, just absolutely ravaging the Russian lands. What the Vikings did originally is now continued by the Finnish barbarians. Then over here we have Sveriki, and Sveriki has been pushed in. Oh, look at this. Pushed in by Denmark, and Denmark is also trying to expand kind of into the Baltic Sea Empire. They're going to go for Estonia and Lietuva, and they're trying to push in over there, but other than that, it's a pretty weird kind of power position, because we have obviously everything in the grasp of Christianity, of Catholicism, but they are infighting, and they're infighting fairly intensely. And then over here on the British Isles, now that is an interesting position, because we have Alba holding on, but slowly but surely losing the grip over its core territory, whereas the Irish kings, or the High Kings of Tara, have slowly but surely been able to unify their land. And I think, yeah, pretty much as soon as we started under the same dynasty. So they are holding on to their glory, as is England, but England has lost a number of counties over here in mainland France, still ruled by the Normandy dynasty, but led by somebody with gonorrhea. Honestly, they're not doing too poorly though, so I think they're gonna hold out here. We also have an independent Duke of Dumnonia. That is quite nice. The original, the Celts, over here in southern England, still holding it together. And then in Wales, we have a fairly strong lord that is also a regional and nativist, you could say. And they are all holding on. Now, what we have had here is mostly the death of the heathens, most of them already converted, and is still under attack, both from the rest of the heathens as well as the leadership over here from the HRE. So the heathens here are definitely losing out. We have Denmark fairly strong, maybe building up a Baltic Sea empire, but then look at the heathen mess that we have encountered over here in practically all of Russia, you know. I forgot about Jerusalem. Let's talk about Jerusalem. It's a bit weird. I don't know what exactly happened here. Let's take a look at the history. Inherited, conquered as leader of an uprising. So we had an uprising by a Mashriki Catholic. So I don't know, Jerusalem at some point lost control of, well, you guessed it, Jerusalem. They also lost land that they once conquered here, so the Seljuks definitely exerting some pressure on them, but I can't see the Fatimids, so far at least, doing their job, which would be to retake the Holy Land. So the next crusade, which will start in about 7 years, should probably go towards a different position. Now, we are almost at the most interesting piece, which is Iberia. I will get to that in a second, but let's take a look at France. France has retaken the land for the Capets. We still have our sister ruling over here in Alençon, but weakened, significantly weakened. Oh, what are the French? Why are they fighting the Bretons? Ah, for Maine, I see. So the French kind of still stagnating. Remember, really early on we had the Aquitaine Revolt, and Aquitaine since has gone absolutely insane. They have also, incredibly fascinating to me, been ruled by the same dynasty, by House de Millau, because the House de Millau, usually when you have these rebellions, they just kind of stop. They don't, continue ruling, but in this case, they have done a tremendous job doing just that. They also made this one tributary to them, so they have a fairly powerful lord right under their nose in the center of Iberia. But let's come to the most interesting piece of what has happened besides Lombardia in the world. It is an interesting piece, and it is a piece that I think will influence how our character, but we get to that character in a second, how he sees the world. On the throne of the Muslim realm, and it is the Sunni realm, don't look at him yet, of Al-Andalus, which is a unification here of Al-Andalus and the Maghreb, both of which are held by the ruler, I can tell you that much. We have a Lombard, Rey Quinto the Great, has his own bloodline and everything. Blood of Quinto the Great, a man of true legend. His exploits mimic those of Alexander the Great himself. What happened over here? If you remember, we had fairly strong Muslim realms over here as well. Those were nothing to laugh at, quite powerful, quite significant. We had one in the north, we had one in the south, and now united under a Lombard. What happened here? Well, I was able to backtrace it. So he created both of these kingdom titles, which is why when I click here, you just see that he created them. But if I look at Cordoba, we see that he conquered it as an adventurer. So at some point, we had an Alramici from right over here, so from northern. So we have two currently living dukes of the same family, which are both Catholics. And as you can see, they're also part of our realm. It's just from this little piece of land, somebody set out to go and conquer Al-Andalus. Now, I can't tell you, and I think it must have been fairly recent, seeing as his wife is still Christian, and seeing as, no, actually, you are Muslim, but seeing as his child is still a Catholic. Isn't that quite interesting? I don't know, I'll be honest with you, how exactly he converted, how exactly he conquered it, but it is the stuff of absolute legend. And I think that this is something, a betrayal of the church, that we cannot really just look at. And usually you would say, oh, what does that, kind of bother us? It's not really of our issue, is it? I think it is 100% our issue, because he conquered it about 15 years ago, and since he has turned. But already here, this is interesting, he already gave it out to Muslims, which I can only assume means that he, at least, changed his faith fairly early on. You died in 1125, which means that he actually definitely married her when he was still a Christian. I can't tell you when he turned, but I can tell you this. I think that Kuning Bonifacio looks at that as a chance for his family to redeem himself, because despite the exploits that we have all witnessed, and, there's a bit more exposition to come here, because, as I said, this is a fairly slow episode. We still have so much to do in this playthrough, in my opinion at least. Kuning Bonifacio has not a father, but a family member that achieved all this. Lombardia and everything has been united under Mariano. But Mariano was excommunicated, a close family member, or rather just a kinsman, I guess, but a family member nonetheless. As you can see here, we earned it, or we got this, after being voted in by the tenantry system into a different branch of the family, and frankly it is good, because maybe this different branch of the family can bring in a bit of a fresh wind. And so far, none of my people here have been educated in what Kuning Bonifacio has been educated in. He has been educated in faith, and he is a mastermind theologian. He knows the Bible in and out. He's a member of the Dominican order, and he has some clear aspirations to cleanse his family name of Mariano, because in the eyes of the church, of course, and even in the eyes of the Pope, as you can see, the Pope doesn't really like us, but in their eyes, I feel that he realizes that his family must newly be redeemed, and if not, then that essentially is an issue, a stain on the honor of the entire dynasty and on the entire legacy of the unification of Lombardia. So with that being said, I think that a big focus in the life of König Bonifacio of Lombardia will be to honor the Christian creed that he swore to protect when he was given the throne here, and he hasn't even gone so far as being crowned by the church yet, but he will clearly put himself under the authority of the church, because if he doesn't, then it clearly doesn't really go right. You know, it doesn't go down right with his Christian upbringing. Now, besides the mastermind theologian, he is also a skilled diplomat. I think he was actually brought up by Mariano himself, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be. But if I'm not mistaken here, I need to look at, there you go, Mariano. Mariano was an amazing diplomat. He had a way with words. He had a way with making the emperor give him all the land despite being excommunicated after declaring himself king of Lombardia. He had a way with words when it comes to claiming Sardinia, when it comes to, you know, going around, but, and this is something that has been very clear early on, he and the predecessor of him, and let me just get that by going to Verona here, they have misused the church name. You know, he went for a crusade, and then he went on to request claims on land that he had no rightful claim on. Mariano, on the other hand, got excommunicated because he disrespected the church authority and did what Bonifacio's the Pious, as they still call him, what he started, Mariano perfected it. And by perfected, I mean he brought doom to the family, because he made it so that he completely strained the, the patience that the church had with the San Bonifacio dynasty. So we are on thin ice. What started with Bonifacio the Pious went then with Mariano, and Mariano entirely overdid it. So König Bonifacio clearly has to reclaim the good name of his dynasty. And that is where we will start out when it comes to role-playing. That is where we will start out when it comes to, you know, kind of getting back into the flow of role-playing. Again, my apologies for power gaming here, but I just loved being down there, just getting it done, you know, that is so much fun. Now what we're going to do is, first, I will try to level up here in the Dominican order. I would love to be a commissus, you know, do my holy kind of duty, you could say. Our wife, Königin Franca of Lombardia, she is a family member of some of the Milano counts, I suppose. That's the same dynasty as the dukes, so that is quite nice. I wish they were my vassals, though, as they should be de jure. The other traits of König Bonifacio are kind, diligent, temperate, craven, gregarious, and zealous. So I think that paints a pretty clear picture of the character. And with all due respect, I think theology is exactly what he would focus on. He needs to bring the San Bonifacio family back into the proper fold of the church. Now, to do that, I will have to take a look at this. I don't think he believes enough in himself to become a saint. You know, that's just a bit ludicrous if you ask me. Although, I mean, it's weird, because declaring yourself as I want to become a saint is something that you have to do, you know, if you're a loudmouth, if you are very proud, and that in itself is kind of, you know, the exact opposite of being a saint. I feel like assembling a great council, I could see that, primarily because he wants the realm in the right hands, and to do that he needs to have grand councillors, of course. I'm going to give you some money to make you a bit happier. Wow, 28 skill marshal, that is insane. For a steward, what will we have? 17, that's not quite enough. I'm still going to put Damiano over here. And that is the Aloramici family, by the way. So we are working together with somebody that is a family member of Al-Andalus, which betrayed us. Remember that, never forget it, because I will not forget it. Now for a spy master, I think I want to change it to Renato. I think he's going around through the land to get the most pious and the most properly working kind of council going. You know, usually that is something fairly tough. And it is even here now. We will not reach the 18 requirement because of these two. Bishop Gildo Feltre is just not enough. Now I'm going to send him out to hunt apostates. I'm going to send him out to scheme. And then I'm going to send you out to administer the realm, because I want, obviously, the realm to be as well as it could be. I will also go on to actually research some military tech over here. Thank you very much. And I think that might very well be it. I don't think he's the kind of person that would fabricate a claim. I think he would only go to war if there was no other way to protect the name of the church and the authority given to us by the church. But so far, the church hasn't given us anything, which means that we need to be crowned. I will ask the most powerful bishop in the realm, and if he has any demands, then we shall meet them. Because the church is our overlord, is it not? Send for the most powerful bishop in the realm. There you go. I will also request the de jure vassal transfer. I assume that the Kaiser will say no. Usually they just do that. But the way I see it is, it can't hurt. And there are some vassals like Pisa, like Milano, like Savoy, or technically here, I guess, Ivrea. Then I would love to have those under me. I don't see it, but who knows. Now, we also have to nominate a successor, but I feel like I will actually not say anything. Now, I could, go with my son, and I'm a good friend of my son. As you can see here, we have a number of friends. Camilla di Monselice. Was that the lover of... It can't have been, right? No, I don't think it can be. I don't know how we became friends, but she's a great person. She's also a mastermind theologian. Is she by any chance? Because this looks like it. Is she a Dominican? Can she be a Dominican? I don't think she can be, right? As a woman? I doubt it. Anyway, who are our other friends? We have Bishop Isaiah of Pomposa. And not that... I mean, he's a pretty good bishop. Don't think I want to put him in anywhere, though. And then we have Gerino. He's alright, I guess. He's directly at our court, so that is acceptable, of course. But with all that being said, let's take a look. What else can we do? Duchy of Parma can be created. I don't see why we wouldn't do it, right? Who rules this? I could give this to you, or I could just strengthen you, and I think I'm going to do this because our family, if you remember, have gone against Massa for no reason whatsoever, time and time again. So I think the reward for you is that you shall be named the Duke of Parma as well. Making him a Grand Duke, a Grand Duke, actually. He holds 3 now, but that's just the way it is sometimes, I make him a powerful vassal because I expect him to serve us well. I could also usurp Savona, currently being held by you, but you're already my vassal, no point in doing that. We do have unlanded sons. And that's quite interesting. I think we have an amazing relationship with our sons as is. Yeah, even with him. He's not our friend, but we still have an amazing relationship. So I don't see any reason why I wouldn't give out land. Ventimiglia shall go to one of my sons. You get Ventimiglia. I only hold land directly up there, and then Ventimiglia. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. You get Ventimiglia, and then my other son, well, I'm not entirely certain. Riccardo, you know what? You get land in our homeland territory. I'm going to give you Treviso. We have kind of, stewardship that for a long time. Oh, and that got rid of our great... that's terrible. Ruler goes uncrowned. Okay, the rest. What else is going on? Some people here, this is okay, though. It doesn't truly matter, does it? If anything, I would have to retake that, but not right now. I also have to set the crown focus, obviously, on Verona. Verona shall become the capital of Lombardia for more than just our generation, believe me. Alright, and with that being said, let us unpause, and we're 23 minutes in. I mean, not going to get in that much, playing here, but, don't worry about it too much. It's fun. It's all in good fun. Alright, he made Ferrara his primary title now. Does that mean that you desire... Grafschaft of Rovigo. I'm not going to give you Este. But Rovigo, I mean, why not, right? Could just transfer it to you. I'm going to transfer that, but the other one I will keep under my possession for the time being. I'm going to be fair to him. Look, why wouldn't I? My liege, Kaiser Wolf of the Heiliges Römisches Reich has denied my request to make my rightful vassal mine. You have a new heir. Alright, so this is the man that lives in Baden. I remember we gave him independence, and then Österreich essentially got control of him. That's perfectly fine. He is our nephew, already 37 years old, and he's fairly alright. I mean, he's not a bad character. Not a bad person either. We have a lot of plots here that we can't really stop for some reason. And we do also hold some land up here, because for some reason the game just believes that the Comune di Milano, a titular title, which shouldn't exist in any way whatsoever, is ours. I don't know about that. If I give him freedom, the Kaiser's just going to transfer him back to me, so I don't really want to keep him. I'm just going to keep him, is what I'm trying to say. Take revenge on Emanuela. Man, the other Amici dynasty is something else. Alright, where's the Bishop here. I have been promoted, thank you very much. To the excellent König Bonifacio of Lombardy, I shall be honored to officiate His Majesty's coronation, provided that His Majesty donates a sizable sum of money to the Catholic Church as a show of his devotion. Ever His Majesty's servant, Prince Bishop Vinicio of Aquileia. And that is so perfect. It's the Prince Bishop of Aquileia that does it. The man that once we had to put down the rebellion. I mean, not him in particular, but his predecessor. There you go, yeah. Conquered as a claimant, and then we put him in, and, you know, it is what it is. That's perfectly fine. But as you can see here, I'm obviously going to take this advice. I'm going to give him some money, and then, now that I have a distinguished member, that I am a distinguished member of the Catholic... No, that I have a distinguished member of the Catholic clergy to officiate my coronation, I must decide how much I wish to spend on the ceremony leading up to it. Well, we are diligent. We might be temperate here, right? But I personally feel as if, in the glory of God, which this is, because I am given the right to rule in the name of God, you know, I'm going to spend an extravagant amount of money. And look at this, so many people saying they're coming. Jesus, nobody has rejected us so far. That's incredible. Only a few more days remain before I am crowned König before God and all my subjects. My court is filling with distinguished guests. Both vassals and foreign dignitaries come to bear witness to this fundamental moment of my reign. Such a lavish ceremony is a rare spectacle to behold, even amongst royalty. It will never be soon enough. Let's get it done. Prince Bishop Vinicio approached me tonight to personally inform me of how satisfied he is with the great month of festivity I have organized to accompany my coronation. He wanted to be sure that I know of how welcome he feels at my court, and that he expects great things of me. I am flattered. I do everything for the church. This morning, a curious visitor came to my court, a wandering scholar who traveled to Verona after hearing my news of my upcoming coronation. He claims that he has heard many tales of what a wise and virtuous ruler I am, and wishes to put his knowledge to my service. I'm sure we have much to share. Oh, I gain even more learning. I'm a genius, dude. I'm sure we have much to share, Guarino. You know what, Guarino? You know what I feel like? I feel like I'm gonna make you my... And this is another turnaround here, but I feel like, you know, he was just a sit-in, pretty much. I'm gonna make you my lord. And now we only have to have a steward that is better than 17. And I mean, don't get me wrong, Margraf Damiano is already great, but I just need an 18 there, baby. And then we would already have a great counselor. A grand council. Alright, my prisoner, Herrero Amadeo of Del Trebio, is complaining about his dark cell in the dungeon, asking for more suitable accommodations. You know what? And here's the thing. Look at our prison. It's full. So many people here in prison. I think I'm gonna give out a general amnesty. In honor of our coronation, I shall release every single prisoner that my, you know, not ancestor, but that my kinsman has captured. Release him, he can repay me later. And then I shall go on. Do it. Boom. I grant you freedom like God has granted my family remission. And Furisto has become a novice diplomat. That's pretty cool. König Bonifacio of Lombardy has fulfilled his ambition. Oh, he must have become better. Yeah, there you go. Amazing. Wait, was that your ambition or something? It might have been. God's blessing upon thee, Commissus Bonifacio. You have impressed us all with your noble rule and adherence to the rule of St. Augustine. As a reward for your recent advancement to the rank of a Commissus, I have sent you one of St. Dominic's finger bones. Protect the holy relic with your life. Absolutely. You know, in recent generations, we have literally sold a Saint Fingerbone, or whatever it was, I can't even remember, to the Pope in an effort to make him give us more claims. I shall do no such thing. I have now assembled a great council, and we shall rule properly over our lands here in Lombardy. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I will actually try to become a saint. Let's become as good a man as we can to honor the creed that we have sworn to adhere. The path to becoming a paragon of the Catholic faith is a difficult one. It will likely take years of dedication and patience before it is rewarded, if indeed it is rewarded at all. There will be many setbacks along the way, and the purification of one's soul does not come without trial, but the truly faithful could perhaps see it through to the end. Let's do our best. I shall persevere. I kneel before Prince Bishop Vinicio as a host of vassals surrounds us in complete silence. The Prince Bishop blesses me and places the crown upon my head, proclaiming me König of Lombardia by grace of God. I am finally and truly König. There you go. Wolf Heinrich Salian has been crowned. Oh! So he attended my coronation. But he also had his coronation. What? And now he's also on a pilgrimage. Excuse you? What are you doing, mate? Oh, I definitely also need to go on a pilgrimage, 100%. Young Amra has finished education and stewardship. You know what? Usually I wouldn't do that, but I'm gonna give you a man. Matrilineally. There you go. What is your dynasty like? Nothing. That's okay. Young Amra seems to love ordering and counting things, coins especially. Yeah, become diligent, 100%. What do you want? Advisor. Oh, he's excommunicated. I'm not gonna serve. Oh, this changes so much. I'm not gonna... Look, I was gonna say, with this new character, I would go away where, you know, we essentially do serve if we have a pious ruler. But he's the opposite of that. He's excommunicated. He's exactly what we cannot abide, what we must fight. And maybe this is the time to declare independence, quite frankly. Or maybe this is just the time to depose him. You're not a pious man, I don't... Ooh. King of Bohemia, maybe. They have been allies for quite some time. Or maybe the Ottakaren. You know what? I feel like I should support that. But now is not the time of war. Now is not the time of trouble. Now is the time of going, you know, for example, on a pilgrimage. All of those things will become important in the next episode of this series. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm ready to hardcore roleplay with Kuning Bonifacio. I hope that you're going to enjoy it. Have a good one. Later, alligator.